Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
I love speaking of Sam being a little boy, I love the part on the ferry, and people have made it a GIF, but he's on the ferry and he throws his head back and he kind of laughs and smiles.
Yes.
Just such genuine joy.
Right?
Yeah.
And I told someone, I can tell the difference between his smiles now, where, the genuine joy and I'm smiling because I'm working and there's a picture. And then the third one is I just want to walk down the street in peace, but I appreciate my fans, so I'm gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And
I love that one on the ferry.
That's one of the things that I love about the show, right? Because it's so authentic. It's not really acting. It's them. I mean, it's a docuseries, so it can't really be acting, but
it's just them off the cuff, just going with the flow type attitude.
Kind of like us right here.
Yeah.
No acting happening here.
I gotta hop off. I gotta leave here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
So it was nice chatting with y'all.
You too. Thanks for joining us, Allie.
Thank you. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Katie, are you here?
Hi.
You're muted.
Katie's muted, but she's here.
I'm kind of like you though, Susan. I would love to be in the flyer wall or just be with them, just meet them out somewhere, just maybe on a camping trip or just a cookout or something. Could you imagine those two at a cookout or even just a bonfire or something, just sitting back, relaxing, drinking,
having a good time.
Or in a campground?
Oh yeah.
Each other.
Oh yeah.
They're a comedy duo for sure. And absolutely. I can just imagine, how they would be just with no pressure or stress from the outside world. And I just think that they would just be like two little boys and, two junior high boys. Let me correct that. Junior high boys.
Yeah.
And I think they would just be hysterical.
Well, I think you throw Duncan in the mix too, and the three of them together, it would just be nonstop rolling. It would be a blast.
Add Stephen Curry and a little Tim Downey to that. You've got to.
The four of them together would be, I don't know. I would be in stitches and I'd crying all the time, laughing so hard.
It's so funny because Sam always says that he doesn't think he's funny. Like he doesn't think he could do comedy, and yet he does it all the time. Like he's way funnier than he gives himself credit for.
Oh, I think he could do comedy really easy. No problem.
He does already.
Yeah.
He's got the facial expression.
Right.
I mean, he can just look at you and just raise his eyebrow at a certain time or just give you a certain look or something. And it's hysterical.
That's how him and Katrina Balfour on set, like they constantly are laughing and giggling and they just look at each other and then they go into giggles.
He's just, some people are just naturally funny and some people have to work at it. And he's just one of those naturally funny people, and maybe he just doesn't realize it, but he is. I mean, everything he does, it has potential to be funny.
Yeah, I just
genuine too.
Right. Yeah, I just revisited yesterday about when he was doing the small little shortcakes and putting them together with the chef Tony thing, and it was so natural. I mean, he just delivering lines naturally,
right.
A comedian just knows how to deliver a line, but you could see it was not choreographed. It just was his nature just coming out. It was a very natural setting and it was just so funny. I mean, I was just left with the whole thing. And then when he went to go cut the shortcakes, I mean, I just lost it right there, you know.
So the little baby shortcakes, right?
Yeah, right. So it was it was just very funny. And I don't know how he doesn't realize that, but it was just a natural thing,
Yeah.
Right. And he comes across like that,
Right.
I've watched that forever. And yesterday was the first time I realized what he said when he took the plate out of his mouth.
I didn't know what he said.
Right, because he chewed the plate by mistake.
Right.
the producer said, "How does it taste?" And he said, "A little ceramic."
Right,
Oh,
Yesterday
that's
was
what he
the first
said.
day that I realized what he said.
right.
I didn't know
Without
what he said.
missing a beat, he just went there.
Yeah, I did see him take the ceramic plate out, but I must have rewind that so many times to listen to what he said, and I still couldn't make it out of
Right.
what he said.
So, okay, so back to Men in Kilts, because we've got like 15 minutes left. So they're back in the camper van, and Sam and Graham are like rocking out to, I don't know, they pretend they're rocking out to like heavy metal. I thought of you, Jen, for actually, because they were totally like Megadeth. And Sam gets attacked by midges again. And Graham's like, oh, there's one on your balls. And he's like,
Oh
punch
my
your
God,
balls.
yes.
But they go back on a ship, and Sam clarifies the difference between a ship and a boat. So a ship has boats on it. And they were on a ship, and they were talking about all the different isles in Scotland. There are over 900 islands, I guess. And Sam had said he had spent a lot of time on the Isle of Egg, and that there was just one road on there. But they were headed to, I can't pronounce it, Quering? Anybody know how to pronounce that?
It's the spelling.
It was like Quar, Quering, I think. They went biking again, and they get to the top.
Mm.
And Sam had said that was the place that a couple of films they were like, it was the set for Transformers and for Aliens.
Mm.
It was filmed there. And then they go swimming in the waterfall on that isle, and that's where we see Sam in his swim trunks and Graham, and they go swimming, and it's absolutely freezing, and Sam gives us that great like flex pose. And then they take a seaplane, and Sam had been on that seaplane before, but that's where he talked about all his hiking, which I love, because that, again, that's like part of him being true to himself. That's that sort of genuine part of him coming out, where he talks about all the Monroes that he's hiked. And that I guess so a Monroe has to be at least 3,000 feet to be considered a Monroe. And there are 280 of them, and he has already climbed 25. It kind of reminded me, in New York, we have the Adirondacks, which are it's the greatest mountain range in New York State. And there are 46 high peaks in New York. And so that's like a goal that a lot of folks try and achieve, is to hike the high peaks. I have not hiked all of them. I've hiked some of them, but not all of them. But so anyway, so they take the seaplane, and they land back on land after the seaplane lands, and that's where Graham goes into his Southern American accent, which is
Oh my gosh.
funny,
so funny.
if you recall. And they go to Kilt Rock, where they are going to do the abseiling, which I guess we would call rappelling in the States. But I loved how it's named Kilt Rock, because it looks like pleats of a kilt, which was really, really cool. And Graham was like legit scared. I'm scared of falling, but I'm not really scared of heights. Like, I could be up really, really high and I'm fine, but I'm scared of like sheer face rock and like falling down. So he kept saying to Sam, like, shut up, don't talk to me, like, get away from me. He was really, really, really scared.
And 9-year-old Sam is like, ha ha.
Right.
Ha-ha.
But then at a certain point, I think Sam kind of felt bad, because I think he realized, because Graham started swearing, like he was like F-bombing. He was really, really, really scared. And I think Matt, their tour guide, said they were 100 meters above sea level, which is like 300 plus feet, which is high. That's no joke. But like he only said 2 things. I don't know, maybe there's some more behind the scenes stuff, but they just basically put Graham, who's scared of heights, in, and he's like, just remember 2 things, just walk backwards and hold on to the rope. And they weren't wearing gloves. I'm like, what if he slipped and like got rope burn and he let go? I don't know. I was scared for him. So the fear came through.
So I'm afraid of heights, and I was petrified for poor Graham because I couldn't have done that myself. I mean, I'm one of those, even at the bottom when you're on the second level, I can't lean over the railing. I walk clear by this. I have to walk clear over by the storm wall or in the middle because I mean, it's gotten better as I get older. I try to work on it, but I felt so bad for Graham. I was like petrified myself for him. I felt so bad for him.
In Toronto, they have the CNN tower. They have it's like a glass floor. So you're up really, really high. And then it's just like you step on it and it's glass and it looks like you're walking on air. It's quite scary. I mean, like I said, I'm not really afraid of heights, but I'm more afraid of falling. But that's quite scary for sure. And then of course,
I'm afraid of heights, but I have to be hooked in and I'm not.
right.
It's like I can't stand like at an edge and look down. I can look out, but I can't look down.
Right.
So
And of course,
understand
Sam,
that.
he's so competent, right? And he's rock climbed before, and he's obviously he's hiked Monroe's, which are, over 3,000 feet. And he does it so effortlessly. And Sam and Graham's annoyed with him about how easy he makes it. But I love how for that one little moment they talked about, Graham didn't want to stare at Sam's ass because they thought they were going to do it together. And he's like, I've seen enough of your ass on Outlander. And then they briefly cut to like some of the Outlander episodes where we saw Sam's bum in all its glory.
Right.
Oh, Sandra's going to join us for a little bit. Yeah, and that was pretty much it, right? Because then Sam does it so effortlessly. He's like, I wish I had a flask. And Graham was like legit impressed because at that point he had come back to the top. He was back on land and he felt safer. But he was like, I could feel the adrenaline for him. He was really, really scared. I was super proud of him because I don't know that I would have done that. Hi, Sandra.
Sandra.
She's in a car. You're always in a car every time I talk to you.
Uh-oh.
Now she's back out.
You're muted. You're muted.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Hi, you're swearing.
Pardon my French. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're recorded, so your French is recorded.
Oh, great. I'm a multi-speaker now. I'm driving, but I didn't want to miss it.
Well, we're almost finished.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got like what, 20
I'm
minutes?
sorry.
20
Okay,
minutes left?
well, it will take me to get home. So I didn't want to miss it, but I left my stupid phone in the car. Because, I'm babysitting all the time. So, I'm sorry, I'm sweating. Dear Jesus. Okay, bye. I just listen.
Okay, well, we can see you driving.
Dear Jesus. Dear Jesus. I miss you guys.
I miss
Oh
you
my
too. Your car looks incredibly clean.
You
Be
should see
safe.
it.
Don't look at us.
Don't have an accident while you're
Hey.
driving,
I know.
Sandra.
I feel like you need to turn your video off. Don't look at us. Just look at the road.
Oh my God. I'm not driving. I'm still in the parking. Look. I'm in the
Okay, but
parking.
if you start driving, you turn the video off and just listen to
Oh,
it. Stinker.
no. Come on.
Gotta run, ladies. Nice to see you all. Bye.
Sarah,
Bye, Sarah.
thank you for joining us. We'll do this again next
Loved
week.
it. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
hopefully we'll have more
Good.
people next week.
Right.
Yay.
So Sam, he abseils or repels, whatever you call it, and he goes down effortlessly and he gets back to the top. And then I think he says, like, I actually felt bad for Graham when he was doing it. But so they embrace in a big brotherly hug, and they end the show on the rocks. Sam, of course, has a flask because every episode they're always toasting to something. At first, I was looking at Sam's cap because he always looks adorable in a baseball cap, right? But at first I thought it was a Patagonia hat, but I think it was an old NPC hat that he was wearing. I tried to zoom in on the episode, but I couldn't see. I think it was an old NPC hat that he was wearing. Anyway, so they toast, they have their flask, and they're back in the camper van and they start talking about being naked on stage because they both started as stage actors. And Sam was talking about being naked on stage, and in the front row was his mom, and some critics. And then Graham was talking about being nude on stage, and that his parents had come and he had warned them that he was going to have to be nude. And his dad's like, "There's no need for that, Graham. There was no need for that at all." But I guess those are the things you do when you're making it as an actor. And that's how it ended, with them talking about being nude, which I'm okay with. At least Sam.
So Deanna just brought up a good point that I forgot about. Next week is Father's Day.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So
I don't have a father.
Well, you did.
Don't feel bad. I don't have a husband, and my dad died too, so I'm not doing anything either. So don't feel bad.
So we
I don't
can
have
either do this later in the evening for because people will be doing Father's Day things. Like right now where I'm at, it's only 4:23, and where Sandra's at, it's only 2:30, almost 2:30. So
The 22.
maybe we go later next week, or
I work next Sunday, so that'll be it.
or maybe we skip a week and just do episodes 7 and 8 again, like we've done 5 and 6. So I don't know. I'd like to do every week, but
The next week is July the 4th.
so
All right.
yeah, that's true. Or is there a week in between?
I think there's a week in
Yeah,
I
between.
think there's
Yeah,
a week
there
in
is a
between.
Yes, June 30th. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if we skip next week, which
Next
is the
Sunday is
20th,
so yeah, and then the following Sunday, if we do next week, which is Father's Day, and then the week after that would be the 27th
27. Yeah.
Mhm.
in the evening.
So the three of us will decide what we're gonna do, and we'll post it, you know, if we're gonna be later than this time. We chose this time for people that were in Scotland so that they could watch right after the episode aired.
Right.
But obviously nobody here is in the UK. So you know, if we're not going to have a lot of UK viewers, then we might just go eat later in the evening for all of us. Because right now it's late afternoon for me, and just early afternoon for Sandra, and late afternoon for Bridget and Lisa. So
Yeah, my only thought was I wondered if Claire Campbell would be interested in joining next week. And
Right, because
that
that's when
would-
they go to yeah, I can
we can definitely get a hold of her.
I can reach out to her and ask her if she'd like to join us. She's got a lot of stuff
or the
cooking up.
30th.
She does those Wednesday Instagram lives, you know.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, even if it were just for a couple minutes, you know, she might.
Yeah, she's an awesome person too. We've Lisa talks with her quite a bit. Nikki talks with her quite a bit from Supernova, and I'm not sure if Sandra does or not, but
I
you know,
have my own. I have my own connection with her.
yeah.
No, I'm buying a kilt.
You're buying a
So-
kilt?
Yeah, the maxi thing. But I told her she needs to wait until I lose weight.
So anyway, we'll decide how we're going to do it because of Father's Day, because you know lots of people will be busy that day, and we want to try to get some more people
Right.
to join us.
My refer cards are due the next day, so depends on my availability too.
I understand that. Did that.
Winding down, there's 7 days left, but you know, I'm not counting or anything, but 7 school days left.
You guys haven't started summer break yet? You haven't
No.
started summer break yet?
No, my last day is students is June 23rd and teachers is June 25th. And then I am doing a day of work on the first day of summer, June 27th. No, June 28th, Monday, June 28th. And then I'm headed out of town for a couple of days right after that. And then I'm working in July to prep for summer school, which starts August 2nd until August 20th.
Okay, here's it, because our last day was June 5th. We start summer school tomorrow, which is Monday through Thursday, all the way to August 5th if we don't close down. And if we get to stay open, then we'll get like a week and a half off, and then we'll start the regular school year.
Right.
But because my kids live there, I kind of work all year long and just take the breaks where I can get them.
Right. Speaking of dates, so New York Comic Con posted that they are going to come back, right? So they took a year off because of COVID. They just announced that they're going to come back. Usually New York Comic Con happens in October, and Outlanders always come to that. So I'm thinking they're going to come to that again.
Is that in Los Angeles?
No, so New York Comic Con is in New York City. There is a San Diego Comic Con that Outlander used to go to. They haven't gone to it in a few years.
What I was referring to. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, right now, New York Comic Con is not announced that Outlander is coming, but they always go to New York Comic Con. And timing wise, because Outlander talked about how they shortened season 6, excuse me. I think that timing wise, it would work out for them to be able to come and talk about season 6 and talk about potentially starting season 7. So I would imagine that that Outlander will be there. That there'll be some kind of representation. Usually Ron comes. Actually, he was there 2 years ago, right? So last year there wasn't any. So he was there 2 years ago talking about another show that he does.
I think that was on 92Y, wasn't that? 92Y was their last in New York. It was 92Y.
I was there. That was in February. That was just before COVID broke out. And then that was for the New York premiere. And then they did the March premiere, but then they never ended up doing another event in March that they were supposed to have done because of COVID. Right. So I think they'll be back in New York. But Katrina Balfe was there, Sam was there, David Barry was there, Maria Joelle Kennedy was there, and Duncan LaCroix were there. There were the 5 Outlander cast members who were there for Outlander. And
are you inviting us to your house? Is that what you're trying to get at?
No, I'm just saying, if you want to get tickets,
yeah,
it would be a good thing to go to, because Outlander usually goes to that. So I saw that's the first time.
What do tickets usually run?
They're not. So interestingly, the badges are. They start on a Thursday and it goes until Sunday. So New York Comic Con, there's like every show, everything that you can imagine that's sort of fantasy, comic, sci-fi related, cosplay, the whole thing. And it's at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City, which is a huge venue. And then
I know where that is. Yeah.
We're going to Nikki's house. Is that what you're saying? We're going to Nikki's?
We're going to Nikki's.
They do a panel at the Hulu Theater, which is in Madison Square Garden, which is in Midtown. Jacob Javits Center is like further uptown.
Yeah, that's uptown, yeah.
And usually there's a huge Outlander like gathering of people around Hudson Yards, which is not far from the Jacob Javits Center. It's just a lot of fun to see other Outlander people. And then a lot of folks head to the down in Greenwich Village to the Highland Bar, which closed. And I don't know where the next hotspot will be, but anyway, point being is that you could see the cast. They're not approachable or anything like that because they're so far removed in New York City. But it'd be great to see them and to hear, and you usually see a premiere, and so that would be super cool.
And that's October?
So usually it's the first weekend in October, but tickets go on sale.
What are tickets usually running?
My birthday is October.
I was saying
my birthday's in October.
Yeah. So I was saying, so they're usually for a day pass is about $55 for a day pass. But they're not doing like group passes anymore. So usually you could buy like a Thursday through Sunday pass and it's cheaper per day. But now I think they're only doing daily passes. You can only buy a day pass, and Outlander usually is on Saturday. So like I would go down because I'm like 4.5 hours away from New York City where I live now, but I would go down on Friday night
Hmm.
and then go into the city on Saturday morning. There's an autograph session. There's
Yeah, but you have to pay for that too, right?
yep, that's all extra. And there are not a lot of badges available for that, like, so not everybody can get them. And then there's like
So now
early the
that's
panels.
what you went to, right? Is that what you went to?
No, so in I did Wizard World, which was even better than New York City. And that's kind of the point that I was making, is that in New York City, they're really like untouchable because it's New York City, it's so big. So like New Orleans is much more intimate. And that was run by Wizard World, which was not New York Comic Con. And they were phenomenal. And so Sam and Ed Spaliers and Maria Doyle Kennedy and John Bell went to that one. And they were all approachable, all phenomenal. It was really, really great to see them there. That was in January. And then I saw them in February in New York City for the premiere, for the New York premiere. So I don't know what's going to happen with the season 6, if they're going to do like if they'll go to Comic-Con. I'm assuming they will. And so those badges go on sale in July. 11th. I think July 11th they go on sale.
Oh, I got an email from We Events that they're going to do their LandCon 4 in Paris that first.
Yes, and then LandCon 4. You're right. That's the other one. So they're starting to book
Right.
like
If
these
they,
conventions.
if I
Do
still
they
have a
think they're
job, I'll
fans
take my pension package and go to Paris because it's the weekend of my birthday. So,
I'm
can't afford
looking, I'm anxious to see who's going to be in Seattle. The Outlandish Vancouver annual event's going to be in Seattle this year. And it's October 22 through 24. And
Right.
it's, you know, just Outlander. But they haven't announced who's going to be there yet, and tickets aren't on sale. And
Right.
then
Are they the one that will announce who's going to be there before the ticket sales, or is they?
Yes.
Okay, because
yeah, what they
there's-
said was they announce who's going to be there, and then they announce when tickets are going to go on sale. But it's not like, hey, tickets are on sale now. It's like tickets are going to go on sale in 2 weeks. And you have time to.
well,
figure
I
it
know
out.
I know in the group that our other group that they were talking about, there's one of them that the tickets go on sale before you know who's going to be there.
That was Wizard World. They said, you know, tickets
Okay.
will go on sale 2 or 3 months before the event, and then about a month before the event, we'll start announcing who's there. And I was like,
well, that's what We Events said the same thing. Tickets go on sale the end of this month, but they haven't put who's going to be there. And I'm like, if I'm going to take the time to take money out of my income tax or my PTO time from the one company that's given us when they close the building, I get out. I want to know who's going to be there if I want to buy the ticket, if I'm going to spend my money, because that's a flight and that's a hotel. I mean, I've done it before.
yeah, I
back in
realize things happen
2019,
and people might pull out, but you know, at least I want to know that it was
right.
supposed to happen.
Right.
So, but yeah, between New York Comic Con and the Outlandish Vancouver and Seattle, and then the San Diego Comic Con not having their big thing, but they said they were planning a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to wondering if maybe that was going to be Outlander just because of the timing, because it's right after Sasnak City.
Oh.
In Kansas.
So it's, you know, it's kind of like everything's in October, November. If they were to come, if they were going to come, you know, there's a lot
Well,
going
and
on.
I'd be interested to pay attention to ABC and Good Morning America, because Ginger Z is a huge Outlander fan, as you know, and so she hosts them, and she's always talking about those kinds of things and how accessible they are or they aren't. I think like, so for like New York Comic Con and even Wizard World, they're not Outlander only events. They're multiple shows and multiple stories, multiple books. And their tickets are non-refundable, but you can sell them on eBay and things like that. I bought my tickets on eBay. That's how I got them for Comic-Con. I bought them directly at Wizard World in November for the January event. So, I mean, I think if you buy them with the hopes that they'll be there and then they don't end up coming, you could probably sell them. Although with that said, I bought tickets for New Jersey for an Outlander convention, and Sam couldn't attend. And I really wanted to go just to see Sam because I hadn't met him at that point. And he canceled. And so I tried to sell my tickets and I couldn't, and I just lost it. Although at that point in time, I didn't have the social media connections that I do now. So maybe I would have more success now selling tickets. But that's when he canceled Wizard World in Chicago too. And he ended up Skyping from his kitchen with everyone because he felt bad that he missed out on the New Jersey one.
And
Because-
with you,
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. He was supposed to be in New Jersey.
Where in
well,
New
and
Jersey?
Hmm?
Where was it in New Jersey?
It's where it was in East Rutherford, where like Giant Stadium is, where the New York Giants play. In that area, I guess like Stephen Walters was there, and he was awesome. People who went had a great time, but I had never been to a convention, and that was supposed to be my first. And like I said, I really just wanted to go and see Sam, and he had canceled, and so I just gave up my tickets. And
which ones they go to, like in September, October, I think is also going to depend on what's going on over there in Scotland too, because like I get the updates and the press conferences because I'm keeping track because of job wise and that. And with them reporting yesterday up to 1,000 cases, they keep seeing that again. She could put them on lockdown all over again. I mean, she's been easing the restrictions, but by then they could go back on lockdown again, and or their section, because they've got them sectioned off like the Glasgow, Edinburgh, and so forth. And Glasgow's still right now heavy, a lot where the heavy cases are at, where most of them live at. So it's anything over there could cause them not to, because if they could still come, but when they go back, then they got to quarantine for 10 days, and then you got to do 2 rapid tests. You got to do 2 tests a week, because I've looked into it for me, and you got to do 2 tests a week because I'm fully vaccinated. But you know, who wants to? And it's,
well, but if they came and did all that stuff, they'd be here for 2 months. I mean,
yeah, but when they go back, they'd still have to quarantine for the 10 days and still do the vaccinations twice. I mean, the testing twice a week before they could even go back to doing anything, to filming or any type of work.
And they're done filming season 6, but I don't know what Sam and Katrina's responsibilities are in terms of production, because they're producers too. So I don't know if they're done filming, but I don't know what their production responsibilities are.
Plus any other things they've got lined up to do that they do in their off time too.
Right.
I
Hopefully
thought it was going to be next year. I thought it was going to be in 22. I think October is kind of iffy because the COVID could kind of regenerate towards that fall.
They said it's supposed
to
come out. They said it's supposed to come out in 2022, but I watched
February 2022.
Yeah, and I watched Matthew Roberts' podcast, and there's so much work they have to do because they may have to go back and do pickups, and then they've got and all the the post-production one was really interesting because of all the massive stuff they've got to do. So, and it takes them almost 6 months to go through post-production with all that stuff in case they have to, and with the weather being so iffy that they had over there, they may have to go back and do a lot of reshoots.
Right. So ladies, I need to go. Susie, if you want to take over, you can, but recording is going to stop once I exit out here. But it was lovely spending a couple of hours with you, almost. And we'll see you maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks. We'll continue to review.
I enjoyed it, ladies. I needed it really bad after this week.
Same.
Yeah, it was really nice. My first time, and I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for
We're
joining
gonna
us.
do it again, and we're gonna do it again. And when Men in Kilts is over, we'll find something else to, if anything, just to have like a monthly or bi-monthly cocktail social or something. But
We can talk about
find a
Abosa.
reason for everybody to have a get together.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Maybe we'll have a book club or something.
I don't read.
I don't
Looks like
know.
I've made the right amount of
But
cocktail. I'm done.
We'll find something to keep on,
We could read
getting
Clanley.
together because it's always fun to see everybody's faces.
I thought you were gonna sing and read it to me.
That's okay. Well, get an audio. You don't have to read.
Now, Bridget, if I could include you in my class, we're going to be listening to Clans Lands every day and discussing.
It's funny.
All right, ladies, I'm out.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.